BookTube. Here I am with a quick review and wrap up of what I read last week, which was the first week in March. I read 4 books, although the first book that I'm going to talk about was actually a finish off of a book from February that I hadn't quite finished. 4 books for me in a week, if I'm working, is pretty good, but some of these were quite short and graphic novels, so I'll just jump straight in. The first one was a book on my Kindle. This was the 3rd in the Poldark series, and it's called Jeremy Poldark, written by Winston Graham. There are 12 books in this series, and they're all set in Cornwall in the 18th century. Really enjoying this series. Jeremy Poldark, this 3rd book, was obviously a book that was bridging from one part of the story to another. So it was well worth a read. I enjoyed it, but not as good as the first 2 in the series. But it does set up for better things to come. I am enjoying this series. It's really, really good. I think the TV adaptation that the BBC have done is very true to the books. And very worthwhile watching. Obviously, I want to read the books before I watch the TV show. So the first series was based on books 1 and 2. And I do believe that there's going to be a new series, so I'm just trying to get ahead before I watch it. But yeah, so I enjoyed Jeremy Poldark. It tells the story of Ross Poldark, and half of it's really taken up with his trial from the shipwreck that was in the previous book, which I'll not go into too much detail of because it's a bit of a spoiler. So yeah, so I enjoyed it, but it's obviously a book that's on its way to other things. The next book I read was number 7 in the Penguin Little Black Classics, and this is called Wailing Ghost by Songling. What a fantastic name, Songling. I've got all of the original 80 Black Classics in a box set, and I believe Penguin have just brought out 46 more because it's 46 years since their classics have been released, I think. So this one, some of the ones that I've read previously were a little bit dry. Some of them were like essays and weren't for me. This one was better, but forgettable. I enjoyed them. They are actually Chinese ghost stories. Very, very short, very abrupt endings, but I think they are from like the 16th and 17th century. They're absolutely ancient, but they were okay. They were a good way to pass a half hour. But nothing spectacular, instantly quite forgettable. But there are some little sweet illustrations in here, which are quite nice. So yeah, so it's worth a read if you're a completist like me, if you want to do the whole of the Black Classic series, but yeah, okay. I did a graphic novel this week, and that is Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. I'm very new to graphic art and graphic novels, graphic memoirs, and so I'm starting with books that I've seen on BookTube that are highly recommended, but I have to say that this wasn't for me. I found it ridiculous, cliched, very much a comic as opposed to a graphic novel. I found all the characters really irritating. Nimona herself, I just wanted to punch at most times because she's just a pain in the backside. Yeah, just a bit, I expected more from it, but it wasn't for me. Yeah, it was trite, it was cliched, it was silly, it was predictable. Yeah. The drawings are pretty nice to look at, you know, they're nice and colourful, and each sort of part is often in a different colour palette, but I just found it a bit meh. It didn't do anything for me. I don't know if I'm missing something. I'm hoping, being new to the graphic novel genre, that this isn't a taste of things to come, because the previous ones I've read, like Through the Woods and Persepolis, really enjoyed those. So I'm hoping that all the other ones that have been recommended aren't down these lines, because it wasn't for me. So yeah, sorry Nimona, dud. And the next one, the final one that I read this week, is Sweet Home by Carys Bray, short story collection. Actually, Carys Bray is from the northwest of England. She lives in Southport, so that's great. I've not read many short story collections. It's obviously, again, another type of book that is severely lacking in my reading. So following the BookTube recommendations, this one's highly recommended. I've read it and I agree with everything everybody said. I love this book. It's a quick read, but I didn't find I could read it all in one setting because each story I was reading gave me a lot of pause for thought. I had to put it down for a little bit and go and think about it because it's one of those books that when I wasn't reading it, I was thinking about the characters. I think for someone of my age group who is who's lived a bit of life and has got children, completely identifies with what Carys Bray is saying in a lot of her stories. There's a lot, obviously Sweet Home, it focuses around family stories and motherhood in particular. So it did resonate with me. There is bits of magical realism in there. In fact, my favourite story is the one about the baby aisle where the lady's in the supermarket and there are babies on the shelves and you can go and buy them. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. It's well worth a read. It's definitely made me want to read more short story collections. I found the writing was absolutely beautiful. The stories were very poignant, very touching, very heartwarming. Yeah, definitely well worth a read. I've got A Song for Izzy Bradley written by Carys Bray. It's a novel by Carys Bray on my shelves, so I'm quite keen to get to that now, and I definitely would be wanting to read more by this author. It will make you think, it will make you feel, it will make you have empathy for the characters, it will trigger memories and feelings within you, and it's great. Thoroughly recommend it. So that's what I read in the first week of March. Interested to hear what you think of these books and what you're reading. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and even better if you subscribe because that makes my day. And let's get chatting about books, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!